The final item of business today is the members' business debate on motion number 15202 in the name of Alec Rowley on RMT strike over Caledonian sleeper concerns. This debate will be concluded without any questions being put, and I would be grateful if those members who wish to speak in the debate could press the request to speak buttons now, please. I call on Alec Rowley to open the debate. 7 minutes, please, Mr Rowley.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. When I read that there are RMT members working on the Caledonian sleeper were going to go on strike, I was interested to see what the problem was. As someone who worked and lived in London and used the sleeper fairly regularly, I'm very aware of the importance of the sleeper service for Scotland, for people in Scotland accessing to and fro London, and indeed for the Scottish economy. So it was with interest that I wanted to find out what exactly was going on. And to the credit of the workers on the sleeper, they clearly were raising issues that I have to say I was quite astonished by. I was astounded. This major means of transport and vital artery of Scottish infrastructure had been left to operate with numerous defects which have failed to be addressed by the new operator, Serco. Looking into this further, I found that working conditions for RMT workers, for the workers on the Caledonian sleeper, that were of serious concern. The health and welfare of workers should be the utmost priority of every employer, and there is never a justifiable excuse for letting these concerns take a back seat. RMT have identified more than 200 faults with rolling stock operated by Serco. This includes smoke detectors being disconnected, toilets being inoperable, lighting and heating systems not working, lack of hot water in some coaches, air conditioning problems throughout the summer, and a multitude of other serious defects in these carriages. The result of this is difficult working conditions and a failure to provide acceptable levels of public services for passengers from the rail operator. The total Scottish Government expenditure on tendering the sleeper and ScotRail contracts was over £13.5 million, money that could have been reinvested into passenger fares and services. I echo the sentiments of the RMT General Secretary, Mick Cash, when he says, and I quote, "This is yet another example of Serco winning public service contracts and failing to deliver for the taxpayer, passengers and staff." If the Scottish Government is committed to this process, then serious consideration must be given to address the issues that are arising from it. It would be extremely useful for the Scottish Government to commit to raising with the RMT's safety concerns at its next franchise performance meeting with Serco Caledonian Sleeper later this month.
Minister.
In the spirit of being helpful, is Mr Rowley aware that through ACAS there has been quite constructive talks, I think just yesterday, between RMT and Serco that I think have progressed a number of matters that I'm sure will feature in Mr Rowley's contribution?
Alec Rowley.
I'm certainly aware that discussions were due to take place again yesterday with ACAS. I certainly hope that we can reach a point where a further strike would be avoided, because all credit, as I said at the start, to the workers on these services. They are losing money by taking strike action in order to highlight what should be a concern for the public right across Scotland, and certainly should be a major concern for the Government. So I think it's important, yes, that these talks continue. I welcome, and I have not been made aware of the outcome of the latest talks, but I welcome if those talks are making progress. And that's why I think it's actually important to have this discussion and this debate, so the company know that this Parliament is concerned about these problems that are arising. It is important to also raise the concerns that RMT have repeatedly expressed over the inclusion of an indemnity clause in rail franchising agreements, claiming that they merely serve to undermine industrial relations. The Scottish Government should be committed to addressing the concerns of a recognised trade union and the negative impacts that the terms of a public franchise agreement are having on its members. The means by which the franchise agreement currently operates does not incite meaningful negotiations when matters of dispute arise. If the Scottish Government insists on awarding public contracts to private train operating companies, then more must be done to alleviate the tensions that are being caused through poor terms and conditions that allow operators to benefit through not engaging fully in the industrial relations process. At this stage, I feel it is absolutely necessary for the Scottish Government to meet with RMT officials in order to fully examine the serious concerns that they have, and also to work together to find a way forward. Even with the progress that has been made, I do think that meeting with RMT representatives of the workers on the Caledonian Sleeper would be important. A crucial public service in the form of the Caledonian Sleeper is suffering through poor operation. The Scottish Government should feel obliged to do all that it can to find resolution to these issues and work with the RMT and Serco in order to alleviate industrial relations problems. The Sleeper is a historic asset to the UK, operating since the 1870s to connect London and Scotland. It is shameful to read the faults and the inefficiencies being experienced today in such a service. We should be proud of our history of rail invention and development. It is in the UK that the first ever railway journey took place. Our design and technological advancements was exported all over the world. The steam engine invented in Scotland, the steam locomotive invented in England. We have a shared history of globally recognised success in the field of rail transportation. The Caledonian Sleeper embodies that shared connection, a join-in rail between London and Scotland. It is important, therefore, that we take seriously the concerns that have been raised. I think it is important that, as parliamentarians and in this Parliament, we say that we want to see the very best service. I am aware that there is investment that is planned to take place over the next 18 months to 2 years. But what is absolutely clear is the current state in which these carriages are running is not acceptable, and we cannot wait 18 months to 2 years, neither in terms of the condition of the workers or indeed the service that has been offered. So hopefully we will hear from the Minister today that he also takes these matters seriously and that we are going to actually get action to address them.